Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? So in this Matt Miller mock draft over at ESPN.com, he's got the Saints going wide receiver at number 13, taking Keon Coleman out of Florida State. And I know there's a lot of people here who would love to see the Saints pull the trigger on one of the LSU guys, be it Jaden Daniels or Malik Neighbors or Brian Thomas. If they end up going with Keon Coleman, it would be really hard to be upset about that. You were talking about a dynamic 6'4" wide receiver that made a lot of people look silly. I mean, he was a prep basketball star at Opelousas who clearly has great athleticism and leaping ability, strong hands. I mean, we all saw it firsthand in the game against LSU in the season opener this year. The only thing that might cause Saints fans to be a little disappointed with this pick isn't Keon Coleman. It would be not taking a quarterback. And I just want to be very clear. And I don't know that I could be more clear about this. I would love to see the New Orleans Saints draft a quarterback. I have talked about this plenty. I want the Saints to draft a quarterback. I was the guy when they signed Derek Carr who said, that's a mistake. And so many of you called me a hater. And this isn't me taking a victory lap. It's just being very clear that this isn't with the benefit of hindsight after watching Derek Carr for so far through this point in the season with 4 games to go. Said this when they signed him. You're in year 10. You have a large enough sample size. You know what he is. Here's the problem. If you want the Saints to move on from Derek Carr. Derek Carr has a $52.8 million dead cap number next year. Meaning if he's not on your roster, he costs you $52.8 million. If he is on the roster, he costs you $35.7. So could you really afford, when you're a team in as bad a cap situation as the Saints perpetually are, having to do their cap gymnastics every year, to eat $52.8 million? And the answer is no. So you have to wrap your head around this reality. As we start this conversation, you have got to understand and accept this reality. Derek Carr is going to be on the New Orleans Saints roster in 2024. Period, paragraph. That's it. Full stop. There is no ands or but. No one is trading for Derek Carr. They're not cutting him to eat a $52.8 million cap hit. Derek Carr is going to be on the Saints roster next year. Okay? Period. You've got to accept that. So here, if you're the Saints and you accept that reality, and this is the reality, look, the old saying, you made your bed, you got to sleep in it. The Saints paid him this money. They gave him this contract, okay? Now you got to live with it. Do you punt on Derek Carr, making him essentially the highest paid backup in the NFL, and draft a quarterback? Or do you say, we guaranteed this guy $100 million. Let's give him every possible weapon to succeed. And maybe that means drafting a left tackle. Maybe that means drafting Keon Coleman. Maybe that means drafting Brock Bowers. However it may look. That's the conversation the Saints are going to be having in the front office. It's not, hey, cut Derek Carr. Nobody's trading for Derek Carr. Because not only are you trading for the player, you're trading for the contract. So what team would take on that deal for this guy who had 37 passing yards 5 minutes into the fourth quarter on Sunday against Carolina? Nobody. So accept the reality Derek Carr is back next year. That's where you have to start. And then ask yourself, are the Saints willing to draft a quarterback and make Derek Carr a high-paid clipboard holder? Or do you try to maximize the return on your $100 million investment by drafting him a great wide receiver, a left tackle, whatever it may be? And my guess is the Saints, who in their history have drafted a quarterback in round one time, who just paid Derek Carr $100 million guaranteed and a 4-year, $150 million contract in total, are going to draft an offensive player to help maximize the return on their investment in Derek Carr. That's not what I want them to do. Said it before. Draft a quarterback. Get a quarterback. Give me hope for the future, because it doesn't lie in Derek Carr. Fire Dennis Allen. Hire a new offensive-minded coach. Draft your quarterback. Let Derek Carr hold a clipboard for a year and then be done with him after 2024. I don't think that's what they're going to do, but that's what I would like to see them do. For whatever it's worth, FPI has the average draft position for the New Orleans Saints at 15 when they run all of their simulations. In this mock, they have the Saints drafting 13th, where they have them Matt Miller has taken Keon Coleman at 13. But depending on how the Saints finish, they're likely to finish somewhere in that 12 to 15 range is likely where they're going to be picking. And the other thing worth keeping an eye on is Denver. Because remember, the Saints have Denver's second-round pick. Early this year, when Denver was 1-5, that was looking like it was going to be one of the first 5 picks in round 2. Right now, Denver's projected to pick 18th in round 1, which means you'd be talking about the 50th overall pick would be the second-round pick that the Saints would get from Denver. It's not quite as appealing as the 35th or 37th overall pick in the draft. So we'll keep an eye on Denver as well. For what it's worth, the remaining schedule that Denver has at Detroit, New England, the Chargers, at the Raiders. The combined record of their 4 remaining opponents is 22-30. The only team with a winning record is Detroit this weekend. So it is entirely possible that if Denver holds serve and just wins the games they should, they finish 10-7 and could very well be a playoff team, thus lowering that draft pick that the Saints will get in round 2. Watch the Saints. Watch the Broncos as well. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.